Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Hello friends. So in this video we set up a lab for your VMware vSphere 7.0. In this lab we need some hardware. For this lab we need some hardware configuration and required some software. So for this lab we need at least a i5 CPU. If you have a server with Xeon processor, then it's good. Then we need some RAM. At least we need 32 GB RAM. In my system I have 40 GB. So if you have a 32 GB RAM, it's sufficient. Storage, we need at least 300 GB of free space on your hard drive. And try to use the SSD hard drive for better performance, because we are set up all VMs and our host on a single machine, so we need a faster hard drive. So in my system I have a 500 GB of SSD drive, and you need a internet connection. Then there are some software requirements. So for the software you need first of all a VMware workstation. For vSphere 7 Lab we need ESXi 7.0 and vCenter 7.0, and Windows, any version of your Windows server. Okay, if you want to set up this lab for 6.5 or 6.7, you can use the ESXi and vCenter server according to your requirement. You can use the 6.5 or 6.7, but in this tutorial we set up a lab for vSphere 7.0. Okay, so first of all I am going to download ESXi 7.0 and vCenter 7.0. So first of all you need to create an account on VMware. Okay, so first of all create an account on the VMware, then go to download and select here vSphere. So when you click on the vSphere, it will redirect you to another page, and here you can get a free trial. So download your vSphere. So get your vSphere license free, and you can get free trial from here. Okay, so if I click on the free trial, here it will ask you to register. I have already registered, so it's not asking about that. So if you are not registered, you can register. Click on the register button. You go to the register button here, click on that button. After it will ask some details about you, fill that form. Then you can able to download your hypervisor, VMware vSphere VMvisor. So you can download, you need to download this one, not offline bundle, download this file from here. And similarly you need to do for vCenter. So after registration you can download your vCenter appliance from here. So it's approx 6.2 GB. Okay, so I have already downloaded those two ISO images on my host server, and I have already downloaded my Windows server image. Okay, so I'm going to my host server. So this is my host server. I have already downloaded the ESXi and vCenter server. So here my VCSA, your vCenter server, ISO image, and here is your ESXi image. Okay, and I have already installed workstation on my computer. Okay, now we create some folders on our directory to separate our virtual machines. So basically we are going to create 3 virtual machines, 2 for ESXi and 1 for your Windows server. On the Windows server we create an Active Directory environment, and we make that server as a storage server. Okay, so go to your if you are using the SSD drive, create a folder over that. So I have created a VCP-DCV folder, and inside that I have created 3 folders. One is the DC, ESXi1 and ESXi2, and these folders are completely blank. Okay, Okay, done. Now I am going to create our machines for our lab setup. So go to your workstation and start creating your machine. So click on File, New Virtual Machine, and first of all I'm going to create a virtual machine for server. So I'm going selecting the typical, next, and attach your ISO here. So select your ISO using from your directory. So here is my ISO, Windows Server. Next, provide the name of your virtual machine. So it's DC. Select your location. So we choose the folder that we have created. So I'm selecting this folder. Okay. Next, then you need to provide the storage. So I'm just assigning the 60 GB of storage to this virtual machine, and I am storing all the disk file in a single file. Next, finish. Now we made some change on this machine, on this DC one. You can make a separate folder and you can list your virtual machines inside that folder. Okay, like that. So I'm going to make some change on this machine. So first of all, I am putting my network adapter on bridge, and I'm adding another hard drive for ESXi storage. I set up a storage server, so I use that hard drive for the storage purpose. So I'm adding another hard drive here. Hard drive. Next, I'm selecting the ESXi. Next, create a new one. Next, and the size of that hard drive will be 300 GB. Okay. And I am also storing this virtual machine in the same single file. Next, this location, finish. Okay. 1 processor, 2 GB RAM is sufficient for your machine. Okay. Now let's start the installation of this machine. Power on. If you have less RAM in your computer, so you can enable a feature on the workstation that allow you to use the more memory. Okay, so you can use the more RAM on the virtual machine. You can assign the more than RAM on your computer. So go to Edit, Preference, Memory, and you can allow most of virtual machine to be swapped. You can enable this option. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to next install your server. Choose your edition. So it's data center edition with graphical interface. Accept. Next, I'm going to select custom and install your operating system on this hard drive, on first one, not on 300 GB of hard drive. This hard drive we will use for the storage purpose. Next, so it will take few minutes. Okay, so simultaneously we will create our other machines. So I'm going to create our first ESXi. So new virtual machine, typical. Next, choose your hypervisor image. So browse. So I have downloaded it, so it's in my download folder, and I'm select this VMware, not the VCSA, VMware. Okay. So it has no detect what is the operating system inside that, so we will specify. So it's VMware ESX, and you can select your version. Okay, so it's more than 6.x. Next, provide your virtual machine name. So it's ESX -01 and choose your folder location. ESX1. Okay, next assign the storage, so 100 GB. Next, finish. Now we made some change on this machine, so here's our ESXi. I'm going to modify the settings, so edit your settings. Memory, so I'm going to assign the 20 GB of memory. 2048, 20 GB of memory to virtual CPU, and I'm going to connect this virtual machine on the bridge and put some other network. So you need to at least put 3 network adapters. I'm going to assign 4 network adapters on this machine. I want to use a separate network adapter for the vMotion. So I'm going to assign 4 network adapters. And all are on the bridge. Okay. Okay. It's done. Let's start our machine. Power on. So it start the loading your ESXi installer. Okay. So finish this installation. Then we create our second ESXi machine. Okay. So it's asking some instructions like to continue, press enter. Now this is your license agreement. If you want to continue, you need to accept this license and press F11 key, function 11. Now it's scanning your drives. So we have 100 GB of drive. It's highlighting with yellow color. We are continue on this drive, so press in enter to continue. Select your language. So I'm selecting US default language according to my keyboard layout. Then you need to set a password for this one. So VMware have some password policies, so I'm going to set a password according to that. So you need at least alphabets, numbers and special characters. Okay, so my password is I'm set a password, press enter. So username will be the root. So you set a password for root user. Now the installer is configured to install your ESXi 6.0 on this drive. Press the F11 to install. So I'm going to press F11. So it will take few minutes to complete this installation. Let's check what the status of our domain controller. So our domain controller is ready. We need to set a password. So I'm going to set a password here. It's done. Okay, let's create our third machine, third ESXi host. So create a new virtual machine. Typical. Next, choose your ISO image. So same, it's VMware ESX. Next, name it's VSXi-02 and the location will be C drive VCP-DCV / ESXi2. Okay, let's verify. Okay, next, storage will be 100 GB single file. Next, and finish. Now we made some change on this machine. So it's our ESXi2. Edit setting. First of all, RAM. So I'm assigning 20 GB RAM. And network adapter will be on the bridge. I am again putting the total 4 network adapters on this machine. So like that we add 4 network adapters. Okay, power on. So we follow the same process. Look there, your installation is completed on ESXi1. Remove the installation media before rebooting. So let's remove from here. Right click and disconnect your CD and press enter. So it's rebooting. We follow the same thing on our ESXi2. Okay, so now it's press enter to continue, F11 to accept, enter. US, set your password. F11 to install. So let's start the installation. Now we set up our domain controller. Okay, so first of all, log in on your server. And here I'm going to do some change, like I'm going to assign a static IP address and turn off my firewalls. So first of all, I'm assigning a static IP address. according to my network range, so it's 201. And I'm going to use the same thing in the DNS, same IP. Okay. So it's communicating on the internet. Close. Now I'm going to turn off firewall. So I will turn off the firewall later after domain joining. I'm going to change my computer name. So I'm going to assign like DC. Searching the following, validating with the, it's a duplicate name. On the extension on the network, you should choose another. Okay. So I want to assign DC-01. Okay. Then you need to restart your server. Let's check ESXi 2. So it's ready. Unmount your ISO and reboot your server. So let's log in again on our server. I'm going to install some services like Active Directory service, DNS service, and ESXi service. So add role and feature. Next. Okay, next I want to assign Active Directory domain service. Okay, DNS service. Okay, and the file I want to assign some other services like server for NFS, add feature, ESXi target server. Next, and here I am selecting the client for NFS. Next, and install. So it will take few minutes to complete this installation, so it's depend on your system performance. So look there, our ESXi 1 and ESXi 2 is ready now, but they are getting the IP address from the DHCP server, so we will change this IP address in static. Okay. So first we set up our domain controller, then we configure our ESXi hosts. So click on this promote this server to the domain controller, or you can go here, promote this server to the domain controller. Now here I'm going to create a new forest, define your root domain name, so it's antivirtuallab.com. okay, or you can use like lt.local. Next, then select your function levels, and you need to set the password here. So it's loading now. So set your password here, any password. It's used for recovering your AD. Then delegation, so I'm escaping this one. It's automatically configured by at the time of AD configuration. Basically we use the AD integrated DNS, so it's automatically configured. Now this is your NetBIOS name. Next, these are some paths for your database. These are the database path for your Active Directory. These are review. Now check for the prerequisites. Now it's finished and click on the install. So it will, after it will set up your Active Directory environment, then it will automatically reboot. Okay, so now I'm going to our ESXi one. Okay, so now we set up our ESXi one machine. So I'm going in full mode, and here two options to customize. Press F2 to shut down or restart, press F12. So I'm going to press F2 key. So it's asking the passwords, so type your password. Now you are in. Okay, so you can set your own other passwords. So here I'm going to configure our management network. Okay, so by default it's getting the IP address from the DHCP server. We are going to assign a static IP address on this interface, so press enter. So first is network adapter. So basically we have 4 network adapters. So first network adapter is marked as active adapter. We will use those 3 adapters in our later class. Okay, press escape to cancel. Now okay, so we want to configure IPv4. So select your IPv4, enter, and here is using the dynamic IP. I'm going to select. So you cannot use your mouse here. Using your keyboard you can manage these things. So for up down you can use your arrow key. To select you can space bar. Okay, so I choose IP4 with the static IP address. Press space bar to select. Then I'm providing the IP here, so I want to use 202 for ESXi 1. This is my default gateway. Okay, enter. Look there, you got 202 IP here. Okay, for the DNS, go to the DNS configurations, and here select static DNS and type your DNS. So our DNS server is 201. Okay, IP of your DC. So it's started your server. Let's check there is any change or not. So what is our IP? It's 201. Okay, so set your DNS IP. If you want to set any alternative DNS, you can specify here. Let's suppose I want to use a public DNS server, so you can use 8.8 like that, but I do not want to use. Then your name, your computer name, so your host name of this machine. So I want to use ESXi-01. Okay, enter. Then if you want to assign any custom DNS suffix, you can assign here, like anti-virtuallab.com. Okay, And to save all these configurations, you need to press escape. Press escape, so it will ask if you want to apply those change. So if you are going to apply those change, your management network will be start. So I want to apply those change, so press Y to yes. Okay. Press escape again to exit from this one. So now look there, you have a static IP4 address. This is your host name. Okay. Let's try to access this one. I'm going to my browser, and here I'm trying to type the password. Sorry, IP. It's https://192.168.1.202. So look there. Click on advanced and accept. So this is your VMware ESXi host console. You can log in with your root user and your password. You are in. Okay. So similarly, we set up our another host. We set up our ESXi 2. So this is our ESXi 2 machine. So I'm going to press F2, type your password. Press F2 to customize, then go to configure your management network, set IP address, choose static. I'm going to use 203. Okay. Set your DNS suffix, static, 201, computer name, ESXi-02. Set your DNS. Okay. Escape just to share the sense. Okay. So to log out, press escape again. So now ESXi 1 and ESXi 2 is ready to use. This is also ready to use. Okay. Now we make some naming conventions on our domain controller. So create some DNS records for our ESXi host on DNS. So go to DC. So first of all, I'm going to turn off my firewall. Okay. So turn off your firewall. Okay. And close. Now go to DNS and here select your zone in forward lookup zone, and here make some records like a new record ESXi-01 and IP address. So IP is 192.168.1.202. ESXi 02 and your IP of ESXi 2. Okay. So like that, we add some records here. Now you can communicate about that. Okay. So if you want to manage your all the infrastructure, this lab infrastructure using your host desktop, you need to put the DNS server IP and your network setting, or you can make some host records. Okay. So for this lab, I'm going to make a host record in my host file. So go to your C drive, Windows, System32, drivers, etc, and add this host file and make your entries here. I will set up the vCenter later. So let's suppose I'm just typing this. Okay. So like that you can set up. Okay, you can add like dc-01 dot okay. So we made these 4 entries here. Save this file. Okay, save this file. If you are unable to save this file, provide the permissions to your user. So let's try to access our host with the name ESXi-01 dot NTVIRT. So look, it's good. It's looking good. Yeah. So like that, you can set up your lab. Okay. So in the next video, we will discuss how to set up our vCenter server 6.7. Okay. So thank you so much for watching this video.